I have seen this a lot. People will come into my streams, especially when I'm like playing Elden Ring, which, I gotta be honest, that's a good time to jump me and ask me questions because I just have, I'm like running around in the open world. But a lot of people will say things like, hey, Sajam, I've been playing insert X fighting game here, usually Strive. I've been playing this fighting game for like 6 months or 100 hours or 200 hours or insert X amount of time. I'm still struggling. Like, I can't beat a lot of people. I've been like getting smoked and I really don't understand it. What am I doing wrong to not be winning? And my answer to that is, I'm sure you played a lot of people in these 4 months who have been playing fighting games for years. But as a side thing, right, just because you've been playing for whatever the time amount you played is, right? Just because you played more than your opponent or a similar amount or whatever it is, doesn't mean you should beat them. I think a lot of people have this like feeling that like, I've been practicing, I've been grinding, I've been playing, I should be winning. It's not realistic. And it's something that people force on themselves. And it hurts their growth because they're so focused on the improvement that they think that they haven't had, that they don't realize how good they've gotten. And also that, just because you played a lot doesn't mean you're going to be the best player in the world and you're going to win all these matches. It's not just people who are new to fighting games, but people who are incredibly experienced, like play the video game and they get so turned up about their losses or wins, they lose sight of playing the game to improve. You should be having fun while you play. If you're playing all the time and you're just getting mad on wins and losses and not just thinking about your improvement all the time, you're going to have problems, plateaus, or issues that you can't overcome because you're approaching them with like I play so much, I should be able to win, rather than like, okay, how do I win? Like, what am I going to need to do here to improve and get better and do whatever? And I know so many people who are excellent at what they do. They're like fantastic. But you can just see that the peak of where they're going to reach is so much shallower than what it should be because they're so prideful about their losses that they cannot see what they need to improve on instead of frustration of the loss. Every loss is the worst loss ever. Instead of being like, okay, what did you do that was a mistake? It was always the sun was in their eyes and they shouldn't have lost to this person and this person was ranked lower than them in the county and this and that and all that kind of stuff. Same thing fighting game players do, whether they're the best player in, their region or they're just brand new. They really cap themselves in terms of their growth potential because they always find themselves like, I should beat this guy. It's okay to be frustrated in the moment, but later on the reflection needs to happen, and the better you are at curbing that frustration and then finding the reflection and the things you need to improve on, the better you'll be. And also the more fun you'll have. It's way more fun to finish a game or a set. And even if you lose, be like, damn, I may have lost, but I realize that I really need to get better at this thing. You can see it, right? It's in your vision. But when your vision is red and you're just frustrated about the loss, you don't see anything. You're just like, man, I'm the worst. I should be beating this person. This person sucks. They stink. They got so lucky. I should beat them. I'm better than them. And like people really hurt themselves thinking that way. The reason I really thought about this again recently, do you guys know about Mario speedrunning? There's a clip of simply like he beat his PB. He hasn't PB'd in like a long time. How long has it been since he PB'd? Like, it's been like a year or something. And he's like so emotional after PBing. And he's like, man, it's like so hard trying to really grind and improve. And you like cannot see it, right? You're so afraid that like you'll never hit that thing that you could see yourself getting and you just won't make it there and improve. Like it's so hard to like remind yourself that it's okay and that you're improving and you'll slowly make it there. Something like speedrunning a game like Mario, you don't get the same kind of feedback as something like playing a fighting game against some other person where, you're probably winning and losing in equal amounts. So you have those moments, right? But like when you're just speedrunning and you're not hitting the right time and every run is not fast enough and you keep flubbing and you have a good start and then you fuck up and you got to reset over and over and over. It's brutal, right? That's like a nasty thing to do to yourself. You still have the same issue that self-improvement and self-motivation are a big factor in playing fighting games and enjoying them. And I think that's why finding somebody else you can play and enjoy them socially with is very important. But that ability to self-motivate but also like be kind to yourself when you play fighting games is so important. Every time Super Noon loses, you should look at his Twitter and be like, okay, this is what Sajam's talking about. As good as Super Noon is, every time he loses, it's the worst day of his life. You're not defined by one win or loss. This is like one of those things that I think people get real grumpy about. It's like fighting games are very individual and your strengths and weaknesses and character knowledge and character matchup may not match up well against some player. You could be like the best player in the world and really struggle against the 17th best player in the world. You were playing BBCF for 3 years and you lost to someone new and you thought about quitting. The thing is that you're probably much better at BB than this person, even because you know so much more about the game and its systems and all this other kind of stuff, right? But that's not to say that in an individual game you can't lose to someone. Or somebody who plays you a lot, you might struggle to beat them because they play you so often and they know what you do. The actual reality is you always want your training partners and the people you play against to be better and better and better and better, because it will make you improve as well. Just play and enjoy the match and try to figure out what you're doing right or wrong and how's it going. That's all there is to it, and that's all you can do. You won't always be playing at your best, right? Just for me, for instance, I always feel like, man, if I just like played and really only played to improve, I would be so much better than I am, right? But at the same time, it's not why I play the game, right? It's not just about how good I am. It's also like understanding the game so that when a matchup comes on screen, I don't only know like, hey, Soul versus this character. Sometimes I'll find myself thinking like, man, I should just play more seriously. And then I'm like, no. It's better for my job as a creator and a commentator to play in the way that I do. So you have to remind yourself that. You're like, you know what? No, you're doing the right thing.